Hi guys, happy Sunday, happy Father's Day. We know that the best dads watch craft videos, so happy Father's Day to anybody who happens to be seeing this. I want to put signatures together today for our pink journal. It's been a while since we've done a little bit. If you remember, we did the cover with a ton of supplies that we got from Temu. So it's time to put some signatures in so that we can play around with that. So what I've done, I have made a little guide sheet or a guide thing for where we're going to poke our holes. I want to do 3 signatures in here. Hopefully that's not too much. I kind of get a little bit, I want lots of space to put lots of fun stuff in there. But I also want to make sure that there's plenty of surface and writing areas for what we want to do. So what I did, I've got some signatures papers put together. I picked a variety of some old paper, scrapbook paper, and you'll see as we're organizing them all the different stuff. For the papers that are white on one side, I tried to go in and for 2 papers in each signature, I went in with the sewing machine and did a little bit of stitching, so it has a little bit of interest on there. And I did a variety of goodness sakes, a variety of doing the front and back sides. And you'll see, you know, there's some missed stitches. Doesn't matter because we don't need to be perfect. There's some kind of wonky behavior with some of the thread. Also totally fine. So now that we've got everything, so I did these in 8 inches tall and 11 inches wide to fit within our cover. So the next thing we need to do, I did use the scoreboard to get a nice crisp edge. I did each one, some of these are a little bit narrower than 11 inches. So I did 5.5 inches on one side. It's okay if they're short on one of the sides. It's not a problem. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now, as we're putting this together, just so you know, this says, found a dead wood pigeon amongst the wild garlic. So, I don't think you can tell that he's dead by the picture, so we're just going to cover that little bit up and think that he is just a lovely wood pigeon who's, I don't know, taking a nap or having a little rest. So, don't let me forget to cover that up. So, the first thing, or next thing I should say, is we need to put these in order. And I want them to be just kind of all over the place. I don't want too many things that are similar too close together. So I definitely want to split these 2 papers up. We can go here. And what do we got? How about that guy, this guy? Let's do another color. Actually, let's do this. Let's do this first, then a color, then a pattern. So let's see what that's gonna give us. Make sure we like it. Oh, that looks good with the color together. This is an old vintage music sheet. Went over to Joann's and got some double-sided paper because I really don't have hardly any. I think that'll be fine. So let's call that our signature. Before we put it together, I do want to reinforce this old music paper with some tape, and I'm actually gonna go on both sides. This stuff is so delicate that we definitely don't want it to crack and split, and I'm probably about 100% confident that it's going to if we don't reinforce it. So let's do that. This is a pretty tape. I think I'll use the same one on all of the signatures. Not that you have to, but you could swap it, change it up a bit if you want. No rhyme or reason to any way to do it other than I really like this particular tape. So now we've got some reinforcement there. All right, this was the center. Let's make sure that we've got everything going in the direction that we want it. I don't think I have much for directional in here, but we're just gonna do one more double check. Okay, I think that's fine. Now, let's get that. And if we need to trim any edges, we totally can, but I'm hoping to put some, paper edges, maybe some lace on here, so I don't think it's absolutely necessary. Okay, so we are straight. I'm going to clip these together. Another clip here. Oh God, it's stuck. There we go. I'm gonna clip these together so that we can try to keep them aligned when we're poking our holes. So I'm going to, wow, all over the place. I'm going to use the guide. Now this is for the center, the spine, but we can still line that up on our crease. Where are your crease? And we're just going to use pencil to mark it because just in case we're not on the crease, we can do it. Now what I'm doing here, the paper is going to be a little shorter than the thing, so the cover. So I'm just trying to get about the same hangover on each one. Doesn't really have to be perfect, so I'm just putting a little dot on each one. Oh look, I'm not even close. That's okay, because we can see our dot. We are going to pull this up just a touch. Make sure we're still where we want to be, and we are. And I'm going to follow this little dot but go right in the crease. I'm going to start. I'm going to see where we're coming out. It's looking good. I'm going to just make my hole. Don't need to make it super huge, but I am going to make it big enough that we can get our needle through it. That looks just about perfect. And our thread. So as I'm doing this, I'm readjusting, getting things right where I want them, making sure we are at a good tight. Our papers are tight there in the middle, because as we do it, whoa, I pushed that through probably a bit farther than I needed to. So as we're doing this, the width of the paper is going to push these other pages out. It's another reason that you don't have to be super concerned with the exact width of the paper, because we might need to trim it, or we might be okay with it hanging out. Either one's totally fine. So there's one almost ready to go. I'm going to do the other three, and then we'll keep going with getting it into the actual cover. Okay, Okay, as I'm doing these different signatures, whoa, hit the camera, sorry about that. As I'm doing the different signatures, I did find a slightly easier way to do this, so I wanted to share. Instead of trying to line this up on the actual crease, I'm just lining it up next to it, and then I can use, oops, well, I made a smear. Anyway, use your holes to give an approximation. You can see enough of it that, you know, just hold it close enough. You can do the guidelines like that without having to mess with trying to get this right on the crease. So hopefully that helps it make it a little easier. Let me finish this guy up and I'll be right back. Okay, those are done, and I am going to line this up. One side is a little bigger than the other, so I wanted to make sure that I made a little arrow for which side we want to use as the guide. So the guideline. You can see there's a little more space over there. So I am going to, oh, I'm saying going to too many. Let's mark our holes. Might be overkill to make a guide for only 3 holes. However, once you have it, you have it. And 1.5 inches is not a huge spine. You can use it on other sizes too if you want. I just used a piece of leftover mat board to make this. So now I made it. Now I can tuck it right up here in my goodie area, and we'll use it repeatedly. Now, what I'm not sure is going to happen. I'm not sure how it's going to happen, how it's going to work, any of that business, is what we're going to do, how it's going to behave on the outside with this stuff. So we're going to start by just giving it a shot. The other thing you can do, if say you've got a book and you can't make it all the way through, or you don't want to, you could also sew your signatures into a piece of fabric and then attach the fabric here right to your spine. But I want to give this a shot. We'll see what we can do. Hopefully we don't cause too big of a problem. Trial and error is probably better with something that you haven't spent quite so much time doing to get started. But there's our, okay, so there's our holes there. So that worked. We might be able to flatten those back down. Go in the other direction a little bit. We'll have to see what they look like with the actual string through them. They look a little messy now, but I think we'll be okay. Alright, bottom 3. Do those. I'm using a piece of foam underneath. This will help you, especially with these thicker board type covers that you try to go through, to not, you know, stab yourself. We like to do layers, but crimson red from Mishaps are not typically something that we want to include on our pieces. Now, because I'm trying to figure this out here, I'm going to hold this side up because we've got all of that layered. Let's see if we can get through it by going like this. What do we got? We did. Okay. So, whoa. So it is possible to get through that. I might not want to use something quite this big. I like this pokey tool. I have a smaller one that is not as tapered, so it goes through better without see if you can see this without making it quite so large. You can see the light coming through, at least on this guy and this guy. So I know that made it through. I need to go a little more on this, but I'm trying not to go overboard. But, you know, we learn as we go. So there's a little light. Let's see if I can see where it came through. I can see this one. Okay, so there's that. Let's see if we can now, yep, I can see it now. So let's go through the other direction. Right, now this one, this third one, is going to be through the thickest part. So I think what I'm going to do, I don't want it to stand out too much, but I want to be able to make sure I can see it. Will I need to? No, I won't, because we're going to go out through the middle. Okay, we're good. We're good, we're good. All right. Well, no, we're gonna need these. I thought it would be fun to use this bright pink baker's twine. So when you're doing a signature, you wanna go about 2.5, oops, times the length, or closer to 3 for good measure if you're concerned and want to be just a little bit extra safe. Why I'm doing this without a needle threader when I have one right at the top, because I'm being stubborn. I have some, okay, stop it. Use tools. Got needle threaders right here, so we're going to use one. Sometimes I really don't know why I make myself struggle with stuff when there's stuff within my reach even to help myself out. All right, now let's decide which order we want our signatures in. Let's make sure that they're going the right direction. I kind of like this blue right there for the front one. So let's make that our front. And I like this for the back, I think. And the blue, it's not the exact same shade of blue, but that's okay. So let's go that order. First thing I'm gonna do is go through my paper, through the center hole, and pull this through. There we go. It's a little tight, clearly getting it worked through, but I'm okay with that because I don't want it to be super giant and have a big gaping hole. Just kind of hold that there. It's not in the exact right place, but that's okay. So I'm going to work this through without going. See, look how pretty that's going to look. Oh, don't pull it through. Okay. Now we're going to go all the way to the bottom through our, and this is called the figure 8, and if you were to hold this up, you can see we go starting in the middle, through, back through the middle. Wait, what am I doing? No, this is not a figure 8. What am I talking about? Ignore my words. All right, back through the bottom. does kind of make it. Oh, we're moving around. I think I want to let go of this to give me a little bit more working room. Back out. Through here with some carefully. And we'll tighten this all up in a moment. And now we go back through that center hole and back through the center of our paper. That. It's definitely a little fiddly. Not even in my paper. My paper's going all over the place. There we go. At this point, I just want to really make sure I don't go pull anything out. We'll get it all where it needs to be. This last one's always the tightest. Let's just get this off. Okay. And we want one on each side. We're going to tighten it up before we do any tying. I'm going to go pull straight up here. We're still gonna do another look. We're tight on the outside. Let's just make sure. Yep, all good. You want to be careful with these because you don't want to, I think if you pull, just be careful and pull up. Watch what you're doing so that you aren't ripping your paper. All right, let me see if I can remember how to do this. This is the bottom. Up and over. I mess it up every single time. So there's our first knot. And now we take the top up and over and under and do our second knot. All right. I'm gonna leave these strings because we might want to put something in there. So there we go. First signature in. It's gonna be fine, looking okay. Let's do the next one. And we said this is going to be our next. So once again, let's go about 2.5 or a little more. Got plenty of string here, so we are okay to be generous with ourselves. Can't put more on, and we've got scissors right next to us, so there's no reason to be stingy with our thread. Okay, I'm gonna take this off. I'm gonna again start with the center. I find it easier to start in the back. I don't know why. I just do. And we're gonna give ourselves the tail. Leave that tail. And we are in the middle hole now. Don't know if I said that, and I probably don't need to say that, but we will. Don't pull this out. Carefully work that through and in through our paper. I'm also watching here as I pull how tight I'm getting, where my tail is at. And now last hole at the bottom. Oops, stab myself. And through the middle bottom hole down here. If you want, you could even add some beads on here at this point if you want to do a beaded out binding, you certainly can do that. Oh my God, stop. Stop it. Just go, just go. All right, so I'm gonna pull this a little bit tighter. Or maybe not. Let's give ourselves space. Sometimes it gets a little rough to try to work it while it's tight. We do need the middle though. There we go. And when you're using this thicker twine, it can be a little rough to get the 2 layers through. Let's take that off. And not make a big let's see, are we snug? We are. Snug on the outside, snug on the inside. Again, just pulling tight one more time. That went over, and I wasn't paying enough attention again, so maybe that goes over, or maybe I did it backwards. But either way, it's in there, it's tied. We've got some nice little dangly threads there that we may or may not do anything with. But do you know what I just did? I just sewed the signature in upside down. Let's see how noticeable that's gonna be. We've got our upside down music. We've got our upside down dead pigeon. So you know what we're gonna do? We're taking it off and we're gonna do it the right way. And that's why we have to pay attention. You've seen me put it in twice, so I'm not gonna make you watch me do this again, but I will fix this and then be right back. Okay, signatures are in. Made sure it's not upside down the second time or the third time. You can see we're all good there. Plenty of writing space, and while we have space between the signatures, because we put that paper down first, looks totally fine, not at all concerned. And we've got space here if we happen to build up a little bit of bulk, no worries. Got plenty of space there. So I do want to go ahead and put, oh, look at, we have a little bit of loose paper in the corner. So, oh, well, apparently we have a lot of loose. You know what I'm going to do? Let's see, that looks fine there, but I'm going to put some more glue here. And let's just work our way around to make sure that we are all good. Oops. Let's flatten that down. That's the nice thing about these paper crafts, is if something's a little bit wonky, you can totally fix it as you go. We find things as we go sometimes. All right, better. I do want to put, I'll set my scissors here so hold it down. I've got some offcuts here from some of the 12 by 12 paper, and I want to put a pocket. So let's get some of that. I want it to be a relatively thick pocket. So here are the papers. That might be cute. I want a little bit of contrast. How, oh, it's got hydrangeas on it. I didn't even know that. Let's use this one. That way, if somebody wants to write something here, they can. So let's cut this down to about, I want to leave this, let's get our pencil here. Let's cut this down to about here or so. We'll pop this out of the way for a moment. Grab a trimmer. There we go. We are flat. Sometimes the trimmers will grab a little bit on the edge, so I tend to go up a little bit, start in the middle, and then go both directions. We need our circle punch to put a thumb notch in the top. And we'll eyeball the center. Maybe we want maybe we want a bigger notch. A little easier to eyeball the center as well. Let's try to make it straight. There we have it. So, let's go vintage photo for this. Give ourselves a little bit of inking around the edges. Thought I just heard something in my office. I may be losing my mind. I think I'm going to leave this relatively plain since it does have the flower already on there, plus the writing space. Go ahead and pop that in to our front cover. And we'll have a nice little pocket to get started. Right about there. I'm going to straighten it this side. Oop, kind of straighten it. Ah! Oh no. Alright, we're good. All good. All fine. Looks like maybe it's not quite straight. Ah, can I scooch it? Oh, barely. Little. Okay. And maybe we're a little crooked elsewhere. Could be. That looks like it might be just a touch crooked, so that's probably why. Okay. Now, anything else we want to put in here right from the start? We could do... Nah. Let's wait and see what we end up with. We're going to have lots of places to decorate. But I do feel like I want to just keep going a little bit. So let's see. Let's just pick a few places to put some stickers. Let's decide which ones we want on here. We've got these that have some dark. But I think, whoa, making a mess. I think this roll is gonna fit a lot better with our color scheme. Let's just cut a few off for now so that we can work with it. We'll use these little guys too, because we are not gonna waste any. Do we have a preference here? Yeah, let's go with this guy. Oh, not upside down. Uh-oh. Not upside down. little bits and details that are going to help tie this stuff together. Now, shall we put a couple of these little ones over here? Oh, these are the ones that aren't cut out, aren't they? All right, well, let's take care of that. I go wide. There's one. A little bit of a, I'm not going to call this fussy cut because we're not going to get super close, but just follow the general shape. It's a nice little bit of greenery here. But you know what would probably be helpful? Whoops, I don't drop stuff. Oh, I am making a mess. It will probably be a little helpful if I don't get super close and keep a little bit of this excess. Oh my goodness. A little bit of excess there will make it easier to grab, since there's a spot that is not yet from where we already came off got the other one off. I can't even speak. Probably not helpful. I had a moment of like, oh God, did I turn the camera back on? I did. I haven't made that mistake yet. I'm sure it's coming. All right, now all the rest of this is extra. We got everything off, so that is now garbage. Okay. Let's just make a nice little floral collage up here. This is the one that I didn't trim very close. All right. How pretty is that? We could even just kind of go around the edge a little bit. That one didn't have an overhang. Let's see if we can get that off here. There we go. Well, there we were. Let's see. Okay, better. Stick that on. Do we want to have them all right here? At least a couple, maybe. This guy didn't have any extra on the end. What I should do, if I turn it over, then I'll be jabbing at the back and not the front. Maybe we will just keep them up here in the corner. Kind of like them up there. Or at least many of them. I have my tweezers in the other room, which is clearly not helpful for this. Do the last guy down here. Blue. Come on now. Alright. And this little go right there. All right. One page ready. Where else? Now, how about on this one? But what I do want to do is I want to go a little bit, let's distress this edge a little bit and do some inking there. Find a piece of paper to put on the outside here because I want to use a brush. Oh, look at, I did not put my stopper back in my glue. So let's do that before we have more of a problem. Let's not go over the top of our ink. Well, we put that on there and made a mess. Good thing it's a junk journal and not something perfection that needs perfection. Goodness, can't speak today. I'll go down the center here a little bit. Off and coming on and trying to not to get in a great big hurry where you do things like bend your paper like that. Maybe this is trying to tell me that it's time to move on to something else for the day. But this is where I like to be and it's fun. Alright, so there's at least some on there. Let's see, get whatever's left on our thing here. And the other thing that we might want to do, where's my distressy, messy stamps, and where is my stencil? Well, it's somewhere, but not right where I see it. Oh, there it is, found it. Alright. Let's go in and do a little bit of lighter ink here. Do a little bit of antique linen. I like it. Just gonna go kind of all over the place here. Some splatters. Not too much, but enough. Which for each one of us might be a little bit different. I do want to go in here and have a little bit more coming off the edge of the page. So it looks a little bit more realistic, I think. Not just in the center. All right. I'm gonna close that guy up, and while we're here, let's go ahead and ink the edges a little bit more dramatically here on this other side. I have a tendency to think that every page needs to have like a lot of something special, but I'm going to try to not be quite that way doing a little bit more detail here on the edges. And we can always come back in and add more if we want, but we're gonna try. It should be a little bit more low-key than we sometimes are. All right. There's a couple more. While we're here, let's go ahead and ink this up. I'm gonna try to not overdo it on the ones that have stitching. Part of the reason for putting the stitching is that they'd be cute and interesting without a bunch of extra stuff. Not helpful. To add to the variety, that not every single page needs to have a whole collage or a whole, you know, a pocket or anything like that. This one I do want to have a pocket on, but we just need to decide what kind. I picked up at Joann today this set of very pretty papers. They had, oh, what was it? Was it 60% off, I think, their paper packs. So these are a nice thickness of cardstock. I could just cut through it, but you know, that would require reaching, and this is right next to me, so I guess this is what I'm doing. I've already stabbed myself once today with the needle, not with this pokey tool. So see if we can manage to not do it again. Okay. Work for a few more minutes here and then maybe call it a day. Let's see. I didn't flip through these much at the store. Ooh, isn't that pretty? That is lovely. Got some ledger in there. This might be nice. How about one of the collage-y pages? And maybe pull this out. Didn't even rip it straight. Oh, here we are. This is where we were going to be working. Right? Yes. Perhaps we'll just hold this down like this so that we can decide what we want to do. There we go. This is not even what I was working with. This. Oh, look at that cute little bird. Now, do we want a pocket or do we want a belly band? Belly bands are not something that I usually do, but it might be kind of cute. But now we need to decide. We could save the bird for something else. Let's cut it right along here. Stuff in my way. So let's go right about there. So we're holding straight. And we'll see. We might need to do another trim, but not much. Just a little. I'm just going to use my scissors because there's straight lines right here that I can reference. So I'm going to cut here. And do we want rounded corners? Sure, why not? Let's go with the little round. Just a little. Tiny rounded corners. And we're going to ink this up with a dark color so that it will show up and have some nice contrast. Don't necessarily want to go all the way black, but let's go scorched timber on this one. So it's dark, but not completely black. And then we'll be able to put fun stuff tucked inside. This is kind of nice to use some of the super pretty papers that we don't use very often. Okay, so glue. Now, where do we want it? Do we want it right in the center? Let's just do it in the center. Why not? So I'm going to glue the top and the bottom only, and then we'll have a nice tuck spot. I'm going to attempt to line it up-ish. Oops, look at me making a disaster. Right. And if we want something just a little bit extra, we can always what do we want to put on there that's a little bit extra? How about a little bit of washi? Ooh, here, we've got these. There we've got some. Have I even ever used this? No, I have not. Can't even figure out which way it goes. Add a little washi down at the bottom because that'll be fun. That will be fun. A little at the bottom, a little. Could even put a little at the top. Why not? This one has a little area, has a pink butterfly, so let's put that on there. All right, and now we've got our belly band where we can take something fun and just, this is too thick, but take something fun and just tuck it right in. Fabulous. I think that we should call that a craft session for the day and maybe move on to some other things. We're getting close to an hour here, so. All right, now I can't even find the page we just did. Goodness. Well, you know, it's okay. We're just going to take a quick look here. Maybe we'll find something fun to do with our vellum. We'll find something fun to do with all of this business. Love this sheet of paper. All right. Thanks for hanging out today, guys. Hope you had a good time. Oh, there's our page. Let's do this. Hope you have a great rest of your Sunday. If you are having a good time, please do like and comment and share, subscribe, all of that good fun stuff. And I will see all of you guys next time. Bye.